Let me have the parties identified.
Julie Panger with the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Destiny Swartz.
Jared Miller, attorney ad litem.
All right, Ms. Swartz, tell me about Avriana.
Avriana is still placed with her maternal great aunt, Marlena. She's also here today. Avriana has been doing very well there. Every time I go out and see her, I feel like her room is changing a little bit. She does love the colors pink and purple. She loves mermaids. She is a fantastic singer. She loves to sing for me whenever I go and see her. She does like to do art and asked me if I could bring her some canvases and some paint for her to continue working on her art projects. She is doing well in school. There has not been any behavior concerns from school. There's been a few slight issues with not doing what the teachers are asking her to do, such as go to the bathroom and come back. She's taken a little bit extra time, but nothing too serious. She does have inclusion for math. I believe it's math, I'm sorry. And basically they just take her out of class and go over what she needs to do to get back on target for that. She is overall healthy, no major medical conditions. She doesn't take any medications, no recent illnesses. She is in individual therapy with Deanna Dawson on a weekly basis. Overall, she is doing very well in therapy. She is making her wishes known to the therapist and reports that she enjoys seeing her.
All right, very good. Mr. Miller, concerns with Avriana?
I have no concerns. She is doing really well.
Casa, concerns with Avriana?
Judge, I apologize. Katie Roberts with CASA and Susan Durham with CASA is also present. I will let Susan give her update on Avriana.
She's not signed into the audio.
Okay, I can go ahead and give an update, Judge. We have no concerns with Avriana. Destiny said it very well. She's doing great in placement. We have no concerns, Judge. Thank you.
All right, very good. We had the final hearing in this case recently, and the plan was to take PMC, maintain the current placement, and get some home studies done, and possibly a placement hearing in the future. Do we know where we are on all of that, Ms. Panger?
Judge, I will tell you, I'm not aware of where we are on that as far as the placement hearings go. I'm actually covering this hearing for, and I don't know if I see that it looks like Gary is signed on. He may want to jump in on this one.
Rachel, are you there? All right. Okay, that was the plan. We just had this final hearing March the 7th. Parties needed a little bit more time to figure out home studies and get those done and set up a placement hearing. We've got, it sounds like, I think, from my memory, some competing relatives for placement and long-term permanency for this child. Mr. Miller, are you aware of the status of any of it?
No, I'm not sure what's happened last.
And Judge, I can kind of speak on that if need be.
Okay.
Okay. So you're correct. At the final hearing in March, the agreement was that some therapeutic visits and, well, even reaching out to the therapist was going to occur. And I believe Ms. Swartz testified that the following week after the final hearing, my client, Jessica Gonzalez, who is maternal grandmother, would be starting a therapeutic visit between Avriana and herself. That did not happen until last Tuesday. And so that was where the frustration lied on my client's part, because throughout the duration of this case, my client has had unsupervised visits. There's not been a single safety plan put in place that stated that Ms. Gonzalez had to be supervised or was not allowed to even have contact with her granddaughter. And so it wasn't until the department, who no longer wants my client to be placement, decided no, only therapeutic visits are going to happen between Avriana and my client. So that has only happened one time, and it's been over a month. So I'm not sure why that's the case. I think also during that time period, the department was going to reach out to the therapist and also ask about visitations for great grandfather. And apparently he is allowed to have supervised visits. And this is the man where the attorney ad litem had to be discharged from the case because the great grandfather showed up to his office and there was a trespassing order and things along those lines. The Avriana has also made outcries about him slapping her and being afraid of him. And yet that man is allowed to have supervised visits, and my client, who there's been no outcries against, is only allowed to have therapeutic visits. I don't understand why. And so that is why I had emailed the court and the parties and was requesting to go ahead and set the placement hearing up.
I'm sorry, Miss Mason, I don't recall that email from you.
Oh, Judge, y'all did respond. Y'all said that we would discuss it today at this hearing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think placement hearing might not be the right context, but if you might need a court reporter if we're talking about permanency for the child. And my preference would be, because we've had this on a placement hearing docket almost every month leading up to the final hearing. My preference would be to set it for a final hearing again in about 3 months and make actually a final decision for this little girl at a final hearing instead of a placement hearing that upsets her every month. I don't think it's fair to her. So I think we need to do what we actually talked about at the last final hearing, and that is get on the same page, have a settlement conference, get these home studies done, talk to the therapist, because that was an issue about the child telling the therapist different things. All of these things need to get done, and then we need to set up for another final hearing.
And Your Honor, I think all the home studies are completed, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that issue's already been resolved. My preference would be to get it set up sooner rather than later, because the longer this child is at that placement, the longer it's just going to be more difficult for my client to continue to have that relationship, especially if she's only getting one therapeutic visit a month. I mean, so if we can have it set, I agree that it needs to be set on a final hearing so we can have a court reporter present. And if it's going to be set out 3 months, then I would request that my client continue to have unsupervised visits with Avriana, which she's been getting, again, throughout the duration of this case, up until the department said they didn't want to place the child with her.
I don't know anything about why the visits were moved to a therapeutic setting, and I don't want to say to stop that without having any idea. And I would like for the parties to have a professionals meeting, all of the therapists, all of the attorneys. Sit down, and Miss Mason, if after that professionals meeting you can't come to an agreement about visitation, let me know and we can have a hearing specifically on that issue.
Thank you, Your Honor. And can I just ask that the department be told to get that set up today instead of waiting until the week before our hearing?
And
Yes.
Judge, I'll send an email out on that, on the settlement conference. This is still with the DA's office. I'm covering this hearing today, but I will send an email out to the parties and copy Mr. Mitchell and Miss Ward, just to make sure that everybody is aware of that so that we can work on a date for that.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I do have Mr. Mitchell on the phone. He is able to hear all of this and he is aware. I've got him on speakerphone so that he can speak as well.
I apologize, Your Honor. I didn't get unmuted.
Mr. Mitchell,
That was what the court and Ms. Mason have been talking about.
okay, I want a professionals meeting set up this month.
Yes, ma'am.
All the therapists involved and all of the attorneys involved need to meet. We have an issue regarding visitation after that. Ms. Mason, let me know. We can have a hearing on that issue.
Yes,
Other
Your Honor.
than that, we need to set it for a final hearing within the next couple of months, I think. I'm frankly not pleased with what the parties wanted to do at the final hearing in this case. It wasn't a final hearing at all. It was an effort to get it in before the dismissal date. I understand that, but it's not finality for this little girl at all, and it's what she needs. So you guys get on the same page about a settlement conference, and if we need to make a ruling in a final hearing setting about where this little girl grows up, I'm happy to do that. But I would certainly encourage the parties to come to an agreement on her behalf if it's at all possible. I think all of these relatives, if you put your heads together and try to figure it out, I think you can come up with an agreement that works out best for Abriana. Put your own selfish desires in the background, put Abriana's desires and needs first. That's what needs to happen. And I hope that the therapist can get with all of the parties and all of the attorneys, and y'all can figure out an agreement that works best for Abriana going forward. If you're not able to do that, I'm happy to do it for her, but it needs to happen, and it needs to happen quickly. She's been in care way too long. Everybody get it? Let me have the parties identified.
Julie Hanger with the department, also present as St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Kristen Ainwo.
Terry Morgeson, attorney and guardian ad litem for the child.
All right, Ms. Anyone, tell me about Noah.
Noah's doing well. He was placed in his maternal grandmother's home on March 15th of this year. We do have an approved home study that was approved on 3/6 of this year. He's doing well in placement. He enjoys collecting Pokemon cards, baseball cards, football cards. He enjoys playing basketball. He enjoys drawing. He likes drawing Pokemon characters and anime characters. He is his last dental was 2/15. He did have one tooth extracted, but it did heal well. The dentist said that his teeth are just impacted, but that over time we will just kind of straighten out because he still has baby teeth in there that need to fall out. But there's no medical or dental concerns. He is on one medication for his ADHD. There's no school issues. He was transferred into a new school. He does well in school. He is passing. He gets along with his teacher. We haven't had any issues of him kind of acting out in class or any anger outbursts or anything like that. He's not in therapy at this time, but grandmother is setting that up. And then overall, he's pretty happy being with his grandma. He wanted to go there. He enjoys playing with her, his cousins and stuff there. So overall, he's doing pretty well.
Okay, what is the overall plan? What is Ms. Grandma willing to adopt, or?
We were kind of back and forth on that. She did want to adopt at one point, and then we had talked about it. She had reached out to Divinity in San Antonio and then came back to me and said that she didn't want to, that she'd rather take PMC because she kind of wants her and Noah to be done with this case.
And Judge, I've been in pretty close contact with Kristen and Amanda about this recently. The placement has gone back and forth in a very short span of time on what she wants, and concerning in whether she knows exactly what she wants. And so we're going to set up, if it hasn't already been done, I know Kristen's on top of that. We're setting up a meeting with her where we get everybody gathered around. Terry will be included in that to make sure and go through very specifically what the options are with PMC with PCA, and adoption, so that she knows that if she chooses to go PMC only route, what she would be missing out on with the other two and what the requirements are on each. It's just been very, very back and forth in a really short period of time. And so we want to make sure that she understands what it is she wants to do and doesn't come back later and realize she didn't do what she wanted to.
So she wants to do PMC right now with no PCA, just straight PMC?
Yes, ma'am.
That's my understanding.
Obviously, I don't think that's in the best interest of the child, as long as we can have those kind of benefits available to Noah.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Morgeson?
Just to kind of remind the court, Noah's been placed with her before in the previous CPS case and then in the original conservatorship case. I believe that that placement change was done in about December of 2022 when he finally left her home and went to another fictive kin who then decided she couldn't handle his behaviors. Also, she adopted the mother in this case, and then she adopted the other two children in her home. So she's familiar with the system, but I do approve of Julie's plan to kind of just make sure this is what she wants. This case has gone on a very long time, particularly when you add in the time from the other case when she had placement of Noah. But yeah, he was excited to be back. I think there really is aunt and uncle because of the adoption situation, and like I said, Lydia had him a long time. And so I think that she can manage his behaviors and meet his needs. It's just a matter of making sure that she understands that with this adoption, the benefits that would be available to Noah.
Okay, but Miss Morrison, any concerns about Noah or how he's doing in the home?
No, I had talked to him when he was at the children's home, and I also talked to his therapist there on campus. He was excited about going back, and it literally is just like him going home. I would bet he's been in Lydia's home longer than he's been in any other placement.
Okay. Well, that's the important thing. He's in a safe place and he's happy and doing well. So yeah, let's just have that conversation with grandmother and then see where she stands after that.
Yes, ma'am.
I will have another review hearing for Noah August the 12th at 9 identified. Thank y'all.
Julie Panger with the department, also President St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Ana Gonzalez.
Linda Ebling ad litem for the children. I don't know if placement is on or not. I thought she was going to try to be.
I don't see anybody's box that looks like that might be her. Maybe the
I don't
iPhone
either.
box, but that person's not signed into the audio. Okay. All right. Tell me about the Vasquez Martinez kids. Still with the grandparents, interveners?
Yes, Judge. They still are here in Lubbock with both paternal grandparents. They're doing really good. Maya is passing her classes. It looks like she'll be going into middle school next year, which she's a little bit apprehensive but excited for. She is up to date medically, medical and dental. She is attending therapy and it's going really good. She's addressed her concerns, her doubts about adoption. She started taking her medication and she's adjusting pretty well to it. The school has noticed a difference and we're just waiting to see if maybe they need to up it a little bit. But her thing is we're just afraid that the depression might come back a little bit when as a side effect of taking the ADHD medication. She was getting sad and was still sad about biological parents. But she's been doing really good. She's very excited. She now understands that grandparents are going to be adopting her. We had just completed the subsidy packet again last month. So I just sent it to my team for corrections and it should be going to Carla pretty soon, I believe this week. JP is doing really good. He got into basketball. He's wanting to get into football too, but he's doing really good. When I last visited him, we were playing and he does some really far shots. We get pretty competitive, me because I'm taller than him, but he's doing really good. He's addressing all of his anger issues. We're trying to let him understand that whenever he blows up and he starts destroying stuff, his siblings, especially the littles, see that and they're starting to mimic him. And the baby, Giovanni, now will sometimes, if he gets angry with his sisters, he'll just smack him. So we're trying to teach JP that his actions are being watched by his littles. And that has curved it a little bit to the point where now when he gets frustrated, he'll go to his room and close the door to make sure that nobody's watching him. He's up to date medically and dentally. He takes his medication daily with no side effects. Besides the cotton mouth he had the first week, he's been doing really good. With him, his medication, we're thinking of maybe upping it. Miss Louise is thinking of maybe upping it because he's good during the day, but sometime in the afternoon, it starts weaning off and then he starts getting super hyper and becoming a class clown again. And he starts losing focus and the teachers have noticed that difference. We just want to make sure that the levels are okay with the doctor first before they up it again. Like I said, he was in basketball. He's doing really good. He's excited about adoption. He just wants, as much as he likes me, he just wants me to stop visiting him every month. He's like, when are you going to stop visiting me? And I was like, pretty soon. As soon as you get adopted, I'll stop coming. Journey's doing really good. She can now count to 20 in Spanish. She knows a lot more Spanish than she lets on. She's doing really good in daycare. She's up to date medically and dentally. She takes no medications. She's in preschool at Roosevelt with her siblings. And besides becoming sassier and like rolling her eyes to her grandparents, she's doing really good. She does mimic, like I said, she does mimic JP and Maya a lot. So she's picking up on their bad habits. She knows that she can't be spanked. So she'll be like when her grandparents try to when she does little tantrums when I'm there and they tell her like, go to your room or you can't have this, she'll be like, okay, that's fine. I'll just get it later. And then she'll just walk to her room. But she's really cute and smart. She's adorable. She just knows that while I'm there, she can get away with it, I guess. She's just testing the limits, but she's adorable. Giovanni is growing like a weed. He's attends daycare daily, saying a lot more words. Now he comes up to me and tells me he wants to play. He's up to date medically and dentally. Takes no medication. Goes to daycare every day. Loves his grandma and grandpa. Loves when his cousins come and visit, or when they go to Dallas. They went to water something in Arlington. I forgot what it was called. It's the one that's in Six Flags, I believe. He loved that. He loved going to the water thingy with his cousins. I just finished subsidy with both grandparents, and I turned it into our eternal adoptions email. And besides a few corrections that I did last week, I believe it should be turned into Carl and Marshall by today so they could start negotiations. And it should be pretty quick because we already know that we want to go forward, and we had done this before.
Okay, do we have any academic concerns with any of them?
No, ma'am. JP is also supposed to be passing to the next grade as Maya. Journey's doing really good in preschool, and she will be going forward to, I believe it's kindergarten.
Okay. Ms. Evelyn, any concerns with these kiddos?
No concerns, Your Honor. This has always been a great placement for these kids, and they do present some challenges, but they've hung in there and met them all. So they're anxious to get the adoption done, and I'm hoping we can get it done this month.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they have an attorney?
They do.
Leanne's represented them all along.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Okay. Very good. I will set another review hearing August the 12th at 9 if we need it.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Julie Panger with the department, also President St. Francis Permanency Specialist Judy Webster.
Permanency Specialist Debbie Whitley, and I am just downstairs with Miss Margaret, just monitoring the call.
Okay. All right. Tell me about Malik.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Malik is placed with his grandmother. He's doing very well in her home. He loves his grandma very dearly. He is in school, kindergarten. He's doing well. He has some behavior. Oh, he's waving. He has some behavior problems in school, but the school is very good at working with him one-on-one, pulling him out of classrooms and getting him time to cool down. I believe that Ms. Ortiz did meet with the teachers last week about his behaviors. I haven't talked to her to see how that meeting went. But they are working with him to get his behavior really good. Other than that, he's doing well in his classes. He does stay focused for most of the time. He's up to date on his medicals and dentals. He is on his medication regularly now, and that seems to be working very good with Miss Ortiz. So yeah, he's doing very well. He's just ready to be with Granny. He's tired of being visited every month. And I meet with them almost pretty much weekly, and he's doing very well in her home.
Ms. Ortiz, you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have anything to add to that report?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Tell me where we are as far as the status of the adoption. Do we know?
Yes. Now that Miss Ortiz she has wanted to do PMC and she wants to be dismissed out the case at that time, we have gone over what that meant. We went over, me and Kinship both have talked to her and let her know that what PMC straight out means, and that what she won't be getting. And she said she was okay with not getting any benefits. She was just ready to be with her son or her grandson, sorry, but she sees him as a son.
Your Honor, we would also add that Ms. Ortiz is still expressing concerns with being able to complete the licensing courses and does not want to proceed that route just due to the reading and the tests, although we've offered and provided help for that as well. She's just wanting to be done since she's not convinced she will pass those.
All right, Ms. Panger, you might want to visit with Mr. Morrow about all of that. And if that's the case, that's the direction we go. Just send me some agreed orders.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If we need one, the next hearing will be August the 12th at 9.
Thank you.
All right. If I don't see you again, Ms. Ortiz, best of luck to you. Got a good looking young man there. I hope that y'all do well.
Thank you very much.
We'll be adjourned.
Julie Panger with the department, also President St. Francis Permanency Specialist Samantha Lopez.
Jeff Sweat with CASA.
Katie Roberts Costa covering for Gabby Gutierrez.
All right, tell me, Ms. Panger, who's the worker?
Samantha Lopez.
Okay, Ms. Lopez, tell me about Ivan with the grandparents.
Yes, Your Honor, he's still with his grandparents. He's been there since the removal, and he's doing really well as far as in the placement. I have no concerns. I've never had any concerns with him being with grandma and grandpa. Grandparents have done well with the adoption process, getting licensed, and have everything they need. We had paperwork turned in to myself. I went over it, and it's going to be submitted. I had to get his LOC updated, and I finally got confirmation that that was completed. So I will submit that to our person here at St. Francis to send over to Carla, and hopefully we'll have an adoption soon. But as far as placement, everything's been well. I appreciate his grandparents and how hard they worked. As far as medical and dental, he's current on everything with no concerns. School, we don't have any like behavior issues with school. The only issue we've had with school with Ivan is his grades going down, and him just not making the effort to get those back up. We did have a meeting last month, with myself, Casa, his grandparents, and his counselors at Monterey to come up with a plan on how to get those grades back up for him, and just some accommodations they're making to help Ivan get those grades up, and getting the tutoring schedule to grandma and to Ivan. And so that was last month. I haven't received anything this month as far as an update, but I will continue to follow up on that. But other than that, I think everything has been going really well with Ivan and his grandparents.
Awesome.
Yeah, good morning. I would say placement's gone well. The grandparents have done extremely well with moving forward with the adoption. The academics piece is still, a concern. He's getting to school on time. It's just a matter of him getting to class on time and turning his work in. So just as Samantha said, we'll follow back up with the grades this week to see what progress that we've made.
Yeah, certainly the CASA report was pretty concerning in terms of the academics this time, failing 3 classes, not doing his work, skipping a bunch of class, in trouble with truancy court. These are all major issues. What can y'all assure me is happening in terms of the grandparents being able to handle these issues?
Your Honor, he's not in trouble with truancy court, not at this point. I think it was a concern just with the amount of absence and tardiness he's had. But at that point, when we had a meeting, like it wasn't turned into truancy or anything like that. And as far as the grandparents, when we spoke to Ivan, it's really just him not talking in the hallways. He's at school. It's just him taking his time to get to class. And if they're a minute late or whatever the case might be, it's counted as a tardy. And so we've instructed him to no longer walk and talk. He needs to just walk and get to class. Be more adamant about, being intentional as far as getting to class on time and making that effort for himself. The grandparents pick him up and drop him off on time every day. And that's what I ask of them to do. The responsibility relies on Ivan. He's, a freshman in high school. He's got to learn how to navigate through those hallways and navigate his schedule to be on time. And so I've put most of the responsibility on Ivan to take care of that for him. And so I feel like the meeting we had last month really sat with him. And so I'm hoping to see an improvement in that. But it's not been made aware to me from the school that there's any truancy already that's in motion yet.
I think that they did turn him into truancy the way that it was explained to me. And I'm not an expert on this, but because there were so many other kids that had a much more severe skipping school, not showing up, that he was more at the very bottom of the list, and that they really weren't going to pursue that if they saw some positive changes moving forward. I think that the meeting last month for Ivan was pretty eye-opening, having everybody in the room discussing his future and what we need to do to accommodate him and get him moving in the right direction. I just think it went really, really well.
Okay. Well, hopefully it woke him up a little bit, and hopefully we pass on to the next grade and don't need summer school. Is summer school on the table right now for these 3 classes that he's failing?
It was talked about during that meeting that if he wasn't able to get these grades up and receive those credits, that it is a possibility for him. It's not completely the only choice he has right now, so we're hoping that he really works at it the rest of the school year so he doesn't have to attend summer school.
Yeah, I would say with his core classes for the first semester, there's going to be some type of summer school regardless. So it's just a couple of weeks. So as long as he can pass this semester with his core classes and he can get, I believe it's the 4 credits needed, we'll just be looking at summer school for that first semester, most likely.
Yeah. Ms. Dickerson, do you represent these grandparents?
I do, Your Honor, and I just wanted to let you know the adoption's filed. We're just waiting for the subsidy to be scheduled with Carla, and then we will immediately contact your court for a setting.
Okay. All right, Mr. Johnston relayed some of the same concerns with me regarding Ivan. He couldn't be here today. Okay, I will set another review hearing August the 12th at 9 if we need one. Other than that, though, I look forward to an adoption. Okay, thank y'all. We'll be adjourned.
Thank you.
Let me have the parties identified.
Julie Panger with the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Margaret Allen.
Supervisor Miranda Slay.
Katie Roberts Costa filling in for Jordan Norton. Judge, I'm not sure if Advocate Mandy Moorhead is here. I don't see her.
And Terry Morgeson for the placement. I have Angel also in the courtroom.
And Mr. Wells is also present. Okay, tell me about the children, Miss Allen. How are they doing?
Overall, all 3 children are doing well. Sergio continues, or Malachi continues to do well in his placement. He went to Oklahoma for spring break and he had a good time there. He continues to do well in his ABA classes and his classes at school. He is healthy overall and there's no medical concerns. One thing about him and his placement is that they have a little baby in the home and he absolutely adores that little baby. So he's really sweet with little ones. His TARE profile has been sent to TARE and is in the process of being, we haven't got the confirmation that it's been accepted. But as soon as that's completed, then he will be published on TARE. The recruitment team has finished some other things they're going to send out as well for recruitment for him as well. The girls, Michaela and Kai, are doing very well in their placement. I saw them last week. They are both extremely full of energy. Kai will be 4 soon, and she will be having a crab birthday party, which her placement informed us this week. They enjoy playing with their different toys. Malachi is doing very well in school, or Michaela's doing very well in school. Her reading is improving. They're just overall very, very happy girls. We're starting to talk about adoption in our visits, and they're both excited to be in their adoption and get to stay living with their mom and dad. And we've already talked about what it's going to be like when we go to court and how they get to adopt teddy bears and everything. But overall, they're all 3 doing very well.
Okay, do we have any medical concerns with any of them?
No, we do not.
We have any medication issues with any of them?
No, Malachi is on medications. And they were reviewed, I believe, recently. They were reviewed last month, I believe. But there are no concerns with his medications.
Okay, and he is in the 3rd grade, autistic, so gets some special services?
Yes, and then he spends 25 hours a week at ABA, so he's blended. He's partly at the ABA therapy and part at school. And then he has a tablet, since he is nonverbal, that helps him to voice his wants and needs. And he is able to speak a little bit, but he uses that tablet. He's able to spell things out like, I love you. Whenever he wants to watch Paw Patrol, he can put that in there on his tablet. So it's his favorite thing to watch. So
good. Okay, so this is a non-adopted foster home, and it looked like in one of the reports that the home was really wanting the department to find an adopted foster home for him soon.
yes, and he's a legal risk foster home was requested in December, and so every single month when St. Francis meets with the other agencies regarding legal risk, he is brought up. He's been on all the broadcasts, and now that he's legally free for adoption, they're working on getting his profile set up for TARE, Adopt US Kids, and we'll be able to recruit for him more.
Okay.
And can I say something on his placement?
Okay.
I think for me, yes, we are not legal risk. I love him. I want what's best for him. I would love to continue to be a part of his life, but I would really like something that I can share on my personal social media, and that my friends and church people that like him can also share. So that's what I would just like to have, something that I could share about him.
Okay, I'll let you visit with the department about all of the rules and appropriateness of sharing stuff, but thank you for this. Sounds like you're doing really good work with Malachi. Okay, Mr. Wells, any concerns regarding the children?
No, Your Honor, I don't have any concerns right now.
All right, Ms. Morganson, any concerns on behalf of your clients?
No, Your Honor. The girls have always thrived in their home and continue to do so. I have Angel here. I don't know if she wants to say anything. I think Angel and Josh, but there.
Talk just a little bit. So they're both in gymnastics, and we've actually added dance recently as well to that, and they're both doing really good. I actually danced the second time. The first time she just played with her skirt the whole time. But she says on her crab birthday, she doesn't want crabs. She wants crabs.
Well, there's a big difference there.
There is.
Figure that out. Yeah.
We have been asking several months in a row, and she has stayed with wanting a crab birthday for over 4 months. And apparently it's a thing because there are crab party stuff on Amazon. So we are having a crab birthday with crab bibs and crab wipes and everything. So
beautiful.
But yes, they are both doing really good. Michaela will actually, she started the year behind in reading. She will actually finish the year ahead in reading. She's doing great on math. We're writing sentences. She's really doing well in school, and her teacher says she's really come a long way since the beginning of school. Kai can recognize 50 to 75% of the alphabet. On any given day, she can count to 10 or 15, which is actually pretty good for her age. She is enrolled in pre-K. I will move Michaela shortly in the next month. They're both going to move to Cooper West because we are actually building a house in that district, so that they'll both have their own rooms. Michaela is ready to have her own room. She's just at that age where she just wants some time away from little sister.
Sure.
Kai has not wrapped her head around the fact that she'll have her own room, but we're going to try to arrange the bed so that at night they can actually see each other down the hallway because they're just right across the hallway from each other. But they're both very excited and they're doing amazing. Michaela asks regularly, "Have you adopted me yet?" And I'm like, "Honey, you're going to go with us." But they're doing amazing, and they're just, Kai is like chaos personified, but they are both just pure joy. So.
Awesome. Thank you for what you're doing for the girls.
We love them dearly and just couldn't imagine life without them at this point.
Awesome. Casa, any concerns with any of the children?
No, ma'am, not at this time. They're both doing great. Really just the girls, like saying the adoption process is great. Really just trying to find a permanent placement for Malachi would be the biggest concern at this point.
For sure. Hopefully when we get him on some of these websites that have a selection staffing soon.
Yes.
Okay, I will have another review hearing August the 12th at 10. Yeah, hopefully we have our girls' adoptions done before that. All right, very good. Thank you all. We'll be adjourned.
Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Shanika White.
All right, Mr. Johnson is the attorney and guardian ad litem for Naomi and did not have any concerns. Happy about this adoptive placement. Okay, Ms. White, tell me about Naomi.
Naomi is doing great. She recently graduated from her nutritionist because she's eating more, she's gaining weight. She still has speech and OT. Her eval is coming up, and placement does not think that she's going to qualify because she has hit all her milestones and just doing really well. She is talking more. She's very affectionate. She loves hugs. During my visit, all she want to do is just hug, 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 hug. Her favorite toys, she loves to wash dishes. So we have a sink there and we just wash dishes. She loves cars, baby dolls. Just doing great. I mean, there's no medical concerns.
Okay, very good. Mr. Johnson had no concerns at all for Naomi. We're waiting on the 6 months.
Yes, ma'am. Hasn't got ready to action her back. They have an attorney picked out, so we're just waiting on that mark.
And that'll be in May?
Yes, ma'am. May 20th.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else on Naomi?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we'll have another review hearing August the 12th at 10.
Julie Panger with the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Judy Webster.
All right, Miss Webster, tell me about Amory. Still with the grandparents?
Yes, Amory is placed in the kinship home at Andrews. She's doing very well. She's up to date on medical and dental. They announced that she has 8 teeth now. She's eating solid foods well. She switched over to juices and stuff. She's doing very well on those. She stays home with the caregiver, all day. So she's doing fine. She's very bonded. We're just really waiting. We're in the final stages with FAD, with getting them licensed so we can go ahead and get this adoption started. Because they are ready to, embrace this child 100%. And we're just waiting on like fingerprints and things, CPR classes to get done. And then we can move forward with permanency for Miss Amory.
Okay, fingerprints. And what else did you say?
CPR class.
All right. Is that it? Just those 2 things?
They said a few minor things. I think it's like fire extinguishers and stuff like that to just get the home ready for the final inspection.
Okay, so the adoptive home study's not done yet?
No.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else on Amory?
No, she's doing great. ECI is working with her and she's crawling and standing, and now they're working on toe walking. So she's doing very good.
Okay, we'll have another review hearing on Amory August the 12th at 10.
Julie Panger with the department. Also
Right,
present
thank
is
you.
St. Francis Permanency Specialist Kristen Ainwo.
Miss Evelyn, are you there? Okay, go ahead, Miss Anwell. Tell me about, let's start with Cambry. Where is she?
Cambry's doing well. She came back to Lubbock roughly 2-3 weeks ago. She is right now in an unauthorized placement in Lorenzo. I did go out there and see her. She's placed with a friend that she went to high school with and their parents. She's doing really well. We were able to get her back into Roosevelt. She is behind a few credits due to her being in Kansas for those 4 months. We had found out that she wasn't enrolled in school at all, and that the aunt was kind of neglecting them. There was never any food in the home. She didn't take them to any medical appointments. So once Cambry got back here, I went and seen her right away. We found the unauthorized placement. We got her into school. We got her set up with a new primary doctor in Lorenzo. She should be on target to graduate next year. I think we're only behind maybe 2 or 3 credits. I know there's a few classes. She's happier now. She's not on any medication, but she does want to get back onto her anxiety meds. So we do have the appointment set up for that. We have an appointment set up for birth control also this month. Overall, she's doing a lot better, and we're glad that she's back. And Juliana is placed in a kinship home still with Krista and Robert. She's doing really well. She just had a birthday this month. She enjoys spending time with her family. She does have a boyfriend right now, so she enjoys spending time with him. She likes to play sports, go skating, or play video games at home. She is attending Roosevelt also, and she's passing all of her classes. Juliana was able to get taken off of her 504 plan, and she is on target for the next grade next year. She's no longer needing therapy. I did receive recommendations from Shalana Jacoby that it's no longer needed, if that's comfortable with Juliana kind of ending it. She's up to date on medical and dental. Juliana's not on any medications. She does take an inhaler though. And this family has been trying to adopt Juliana since the beginning of 2023. We had to wait for the 10-year mark for the approved RTB. The family started working with St. Francis Foster in December, and they were able to complete the risk evaluation for the RTB. But then they needed to complete a risk evaluation for the criminal charge. They started that risk evaluation in March, and the entire process has been really stressful for Krista and Robert. Things have not been going smoothly. We actually recently found out that Robert's FBI background check came back as ineligible. So at this point, there's nothing really we can do. Krista has decided to take PMC of Juliana, and she did decide this a few months ago as well. And then me and the kinship worker did talk her into going forward with adoption again. And that was before we found out about his background check. But she states that she's pregnant right now and she doesn't want the added stress. And I've talked to Juliana about this too, and she is happy either way. She just tells me that she wants to stay with Krista, and she kind of understands.
Okay. Miss Evelyn, let's start with Cambry. Any additional concerns regarding Cambry?
Nothing other than what's been stated. If she can be stable, I think that's where we want to go and try to get some permanency for her. And I apologize, I was caught up with something. I didn't realize you had jumped ahead. So, I think we're where we need to be with Cambry right now. It's as good as this may be as good as a placement as she's going to have.
Okay, and Juliana, are you okay with the PMC plan?
I am. I hate that some of these policies do what they do to the kids and cut them out of some things that they ought to be able to get. I don't know if she'll be able to get her college or not. I hope she will be. I have to reread the rules sometimes on some of those things, but I hope it does not keep her from getting at least that much, since she would be aging out, or almost aging out, not quite.
Okay.
Judge, I can check on that. I know that the college tuition waiver is available in lots of circumstances where other benefits aren't. I'll double check on what those requirements are. I know one of them is if maybe age 13, I think, if the child was in care. I'll double check on that one. I do want to reassure the court that this is a situation where the department through St. Francis has been very diligently working with this family on either adoption or licensing for either adoption or PCA benefits of some sort, and has just run up on, I guess, really every type of pushback that there is, problems that would prevent licensing for adoption, and then prevent issues or being able to go forward for months and maybe close or more than a year for any sort of PCA benefits. And so they have had extensive discussions with this family, and so this is one where I feel very, very confident that the family knows what those options are and is just kind of at a point where it would take so long and be so problematic that it may be more stress than not. So those conversations have happened.
And I would agree that Kristen has done a lot of work to try to push this through, and sometimes it is what it is. Nothing that can be done locally to make something happen that can't happen.
And I can say that I did look into the college. Juliana will get free college still, and she needs to enroll before she's 24. She just won't receive Medicaid or the benefits, the monthly subsidy. And we do have Krista on right now too, which is her caregiver.
See that? Okay, what is the plan for Cambry? Has she done PAL? Is she planning to age out?
She has completed PAL. Yes, she completed that last year. She does want to age out when she turns 18. And I talked to this home, and they are willing to keep her until she's 20 or 21. They're also willing to do a home study. So I have requested that as well.
Great. Okay. So maybe we can turn this into an authorized placement and
yes, ma'am,
get her all of the benefits that aging out gets our kids.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, is she going to work this summer?
She's hoping so. I think her main focus right now is to focus on school so that she can graduate on time.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. What does she want to do after high school?
She's still looking into law school right now.
Okay, keep her away from half of the attorneys on my list who will try to talk her out of that. Maybe more than half. Okay, very good. Anything else on these girls?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'll have another review hearing August the 12th at 10.
Julie Panger with the department, also President, St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Jathan Zoll.
All right, Mr. Zoll, tell me about Joshua.
Well, Your Honor, I hate to put it this way, but there's not a lot to tell because he's left placement, and he really just kind of left contact and everything at that point. He moved into it with his girlfriend, and from his previous placement, we found out he was going to be getting married, which given the time would be within a month or so, maybe even less. The only contact I've had with him in a while, as far as getting him to respond back, he asked about his social security number and his Medicaid number. He was at the ER for digestion problems, but he's still not given an address of where he is. That brief time I talked to him, he said he was doing well, but he just didn't give much information.
Okay, so at this point, he does have his Medicaid information?
Yes, Your Honor. He had it at the house, but he didn't have it with him when he went over to the urgent care, not ER, urgent care. So that's why he was calling.
Okay, when did he leave placement?
Better part of 3-4 months ago. Let me double check that real quick for you.
Did he get his GED?
He said he was going into the program, but he had not got it yet. He was focusing more on his working because he had was working full time and doing well. So yes, ma'am. This would have been late January, I believe the 25th. But as far as when he left, the last contact I had with him, that would have been 4
Right.
weeks ago, I believe.
The last time we had a review hearing, he had he's had mental health issues the entire time he's been in care, and also substance abuse issues. Do we know how he's doing with those things?
Right before he was going to be leaving, he was doing very well. Said he was getting off the drugs and not taking everything very responsible. But then all of a sudden, he just left. When I spoke to him, he sounded very clear-minded. He sounded like he was doing well. He didn't directly say one way or the other if he was doing drugs, but he sounded happy, and he sounded like he was, like I said, clear-headed.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is Sasha. I do show that he received some sort of mental health services 3 times in March, so it appears he might be getting counseling of some sort in my system.
Great. Thank
That's
you.
good to know.
Does it say where?
Let me look. It does say Legacy Outreach Services, which is in Houston. And the ER, I believe, was also in Houston.
All right, Mr. Zoll, do you have contact information for the girlfriend?
I do not. That he never gave me. And I do know that they are outside of Houston. Every time had spoke to him in the past, it was, oh, we're in a little town and we don't get texts and et cetera, et cetera. But I do know somebody in the Legacy Outreach Services that I might be able to contact. Maybe they have record of where he's at.
Okay. That would be good. I think it looks like from the hearing last time he was in an SIL placement in Houston, so maybe he met the girl in that area. And
I believe so, Your Honor. And like I said, he had really come around right beforehand. So, I was really encouraged on how he was going to be doing. And this came all of a sudden like, hey, I'm there one day and hey, I left the next.
Okay. Does he have a driver's license or at least an ID?
Yes, ma'am.
A driver's license or an ID?
He was finishing up his driver's license when just before he left. So I'm going to have to assume that he did get it, especially since he is working full time.
Where does he work?
But I know he had an ID before that point.
Okay. Where does he work?
He was working for I did like the place that makes the big burritos. Chili's. No. Yeah, but he was working there, and the job was able to transfer him to this town. So it must be relatively near some bigger area to have a chain restaurant like that. And so, but like I said, he's repeatedly been asked for his address. I tried him actually again this morning, sending texts, and his voicemail says it was not set up at this time.
Well, let's keep after it and see if we can work with Sasha and nail down where he is and get back in contact with him and make sure he has all the resources he needs.
Yes, ma'am. And, that's really what we want to do for him. Because if he's happy and he's doing well, let's support him so he's successful. So.
Okay, I will set another services review hearing for Joshua, August the 12th at 10.
August the 12th? Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Julie Panger with the department, also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Judy Webster.
Ms. Webster, tell me about Damascus.
Yes, ma'am. Damascus is currently placed with a kinship home here in Lubbock. He's a very loving child. He's very outgoing. He loves to climb on furniture. He loves his cereal. He's doing very well in the home. He does have eczema, but the Miss Hernandez, who's I see she's on too, has stuff for that. She keeps it under control. Other than that, he's up to date on all his medical and dental stuff. There's no medical concerns with him. no developmental delays or anything like that. He's very bonded with the Hernandezes. He calls them mom and dad. So yeah, he's doing great in there. He doesn't go to daycare. He's home with Miss Hernandez. But he does socialize with other cousins, other family members. They go to church, they go to outings. So he's doing very well in the home.
All right, Ms. Hernandez, you have anything to add to that report? There he is. You're on mute, ma'am. You're mute. Kind of hard to unmute with a little one in your hand, probably. There you go.
He's doing really well. He's adjusted really well. He's very loved. He's just ready for a nap.
Me too. Okay. Tell me, Ms. Webster, what is the status of the adoption for permanency?
Yes, we were working on, when I got this case, they were working on getting licensed. When I did some questioning, I had talked to our FAD department. It looks like back in January on the 8th, they had denied licensure to the Hernandez home. To get clarification of how that happened and why, because I was under the impression we were just waiting on bank statements. So we're trying to get that cleared up with the FAD department so we can move forward to see what our options are, because they are ready for permanency with Damascus, and so we need to figure it out pretty fast.
Okay, I know at the last hearing that we had a fire and we're looking for a new home. Was that the concern?
I have not yet heard back from the kinship to make sure what was the concerns of why they were denied back in January. So I'm just waiting to hear from that. But they do have a new home. I believe the home study for this home has been conducted as well. So we're just trying to figure out what is really missing or what happened and what can be done from this point forward.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else on Damascus?
No, he has his appointments and stuff like that. He has a dentist appointment on Wednesday. So other than that, he's doing really good.
Sounds like it. All right, we'll have another review hearing.
Julie Payer with the department, also present as St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Kristen Ainwell.
Jim Shaw, attorney at Latham.
Okay, tell me, Ms. Ainwell, how the kids are doing. It looks like we have the Sparks family here also. How are the kids doing and where are they placed? All of those things.
Mary's doing good. She's placed in the kinship home still with her maternal grandmother. Mary's doing much better in placement. We have not had any issues with behavior. She's been listening to Martina and following all the rules. She enjoys hanging out with her friends and going shopping. We did have an ARD scheduled and completed for Mary on 2/27. She did qualify for an IEP, so we are on that with accommodations. And with that, she was able to get her grades up. They are passing grades. She is now on track for the 9th grade. So we're not going to be held back. We're not failing any classes anymore. She's getting the help that she needs. And although visits have stopped with biological mom and dad, Mary is still able to have sibling visits. She can contact the Sparks whenever she wants to talk to Dolores or see her siblings through FaceTime or anything like that when they set up visits. She is attending counseling with Choices Counseling. She's doing individual counseling and family counseling with Martina. There's no medical concerns. Dental, we did have an appointment for a tooth to get extracted. And at her first appointment, she was scared that she didn't go through with it. So we had to reschedule it. And now Medicaid is stating that they're not going to pay for it. But I have been in touch with Superior and they're going to try to fix any of those issues regarding payment so we could schedule that, because I know that tooth has been really bothering her. But other than that, Mary's doing really well. I'm glad that I feel like counseling had really helped their relationship also, because I know that at times she was kind of screaming and getting angry with Martina. And then Dolores, Jose, and JoJo are placed with the Sparks. Dolores is doing really good. She's in pre-K at Bennett. She really enjoys going to school and making new friends. She loves books and learning how to read. She's up to date on all medical and dental. There's no concerns. She was prescribed glasses. She did have her eye surgery and her follow-up surgery. And there was like a 0.1 difference in each eye, but it was not a huge amount to have a second surgery. So they did prescribe her glasses for that also. She is in therapy with Brenda Wilbanks right now, and she also receives therapy with Angels of Care. And then JoJo's doing really well. He's opened up the most, I believe, out of all the siblings placed in the home. He's very active and outgoing. He's used to be very shy, and he's not this shy little boy anymore. He loves to run around the home and get into everything. He loves to play with his toys and watch cartoons. He's attending daycare during the week. He's up to date on medical and dental. There's no concerns. He was requalified for ECI services in OT and speech, which they see him at daycare. And then Jose is doing well also. He's a really easygoing, happy baby. He's always smiling. He's attending daycare as well with JoJo. He loves to crawl around the home and chase his siblings. He's learning how to walk. He's got 4 teeth right now that came through. He requalified for ECI also in PT and OT for his motor skills. And overall, all the kids are doing really well in each of their placements.
Okay, talk to me about the status of the adoption with the younger three.
Redactions in HESEG have been completed and I have them back. Subsidy packets have been completed. They've been sent to our email box and they have not been sent over to Deanna just yet. I'm going to go downstairs after this court hearing actually and see if we can get that sent over to Deanna today. So then we'd be waiting for about a 30-day period once negotiations can be complete for the adoption hearing to be set.
Okay, and as far as Mary, what is the permanency plan there with grandma?
We did speak with St. Francis Foster. They are able to license the home that she's in now. And she did pass her proficiency test. So she is still going to go through with adoption right now. She had asked to put it off for a month because she's having issues with her daughter, but we are still on track for adoption with Martina and Mary. She was nervous that she wouldn't be able to pass that test, but we were able to kind of help her in ways of we asked the questions and then she would answer them.
Okay. Good. Other than that tooth infection that you were talking about in the eye surgery that we needed, any other medical concerns with any of the kids?
No, ma'am. Okay. They're healthy kids.
Good. Mr. Shaw, any additional concerns?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
All right, the Sparks family, y'all have anything to add?
Sorry, I was unmuting. The kids are doing really well. We're just honored and proud to have them in our house. Nothing else to add there.
Okay, good. Well, thank y'all for what you're doing for these kiddos. Okay, anything else? All right, we'll have another review hearing August the 12th at 11. Thank y'all.
Thank you.